I did not want to leave anybody out because I knew somebody would say, oh, shit, Reaper didn't play it. So I played it. There it is. Now, that's how you start a Monday night.
Well, I know that. I know Kyler's going to ask for it when he shows up.
Oh, if I have to do a double take, a tap, take, whatever, I'll do it again. But welcome, everybody. We are back on a Monday night for another awesome edition of Tracks of the Damned. And good evening, Cody, Rebecca, Mouse Bong, and we're just waiting for the rest of the Addicts family to join. So if you got to wake them up, send them a message, tell their mom, their dad, their fucking grandma, sister, I don't give a shit. Wake them up, share it out anywhere and everywhere that there is a metal lover. Tonight, what are we talking about, Hoofbeast?
Oh, man, going back 54 years of metal and the best album releases for the month of August throughout all time. 54 years of August. And here we are.
Goodness, yes. And we got some seriously good ones for you tonight. Maybe you've listened to it a few times before, and it might be time to dust that motherfucker off and give it another listen after going through it this evening. But it's like, how do we comb through that many years? And August is a tough month. Metal guys don't like to release anything in August, especially death metal, black metal. They're very few and far between. Of course, all the shit that sucks got released in August, but I think we've chosen some really good ones. Yeah, Belka in the house. What's going on, girl? She goes, Mousebong says 54 years, and I couldn't think of a damn list for it. Right? Because August is just not one of those months that most metal bands would release their records. Because obviously, as time has gone on, the bands didn't really get to pick their months. But it always just made sense, I guess, for black metal, death metal, a lot of doom, and some other ones to release them either in June for Midsummer, definitely September, October, November, and then December through February. March was real heavy. Not so many in April, but May is really good. So just seems to be the typical. So before we get into this craziness, got to make the sponsors happy. Make sure that we check out our brother over across the seas over at Poison Valley Scareware. Check this out. Allahu Akbar. Hell yeah. So, like I said, I talked to my good buddy Dave, who is the owner and principal artist for that company. And he told me about a week he'll have a bunch of new designs to show. There is a couple, but he didn't want me to show them just yet. So it's going to be a new commercial very, very soon. But I'm sure I'll probably put some more Human the Hoof Beast on there, especially now that I got all the tracks back into my possession. Hell yeah. All I had to do was get rid of my Android and get a fucking iPhone back. So
yep. I think I'm getting my iPhone in the next couple of days. Hallelujah, I'd miss that thing.
Dude, I thought I was swimming, drowning without that fucking thing, because it is so fucking efficient. Nothing against those of you that are stuck on the Samsung, whatever the fuck it is these days. But iPhone is where it's at. Anyway, let's go ahead and kick this shit off right. And that's okay, Yabelka. We don't fault you for we don't fault you for having Android, but for business and the things that we do, it is way more efficient. It just really is. But then again, yeah. So also one more point, going back to the commercial, check out the new page. It's the same page, but now it is called Poison Valley Scareware. So definitely go over and check that shit out. God damn it, Babylon. Brown iPhone. Nah, we're not carrying assholes around. It's the person who's got the phone in their hand. Mousebonk says, I'm an iPhone user, but I have to admit that new flip phone is sexy. Okay, I do agree with you on that. Everyone that I've seen that has it, it's kind of like, this is cool. It's smaller. I can put it in a shirt pocket and not worry about it like ripping the damn pocket off. Yeah, and she also says, oh, wait a minute. Yabelka says, maybe one day I consider change to iPhone. That'd be cool. Give it a shot. Let's see. Babylon says, iPhone here, and I use a souped up iPad to record with. Look at you getting all techie. Kyler, he's here. You missed the ass.
No, you did. Tyler, you
Cody says, hey, we filmed some good scenes on Samsung. Laughing my ass off. Well, yes, we did. We totally did. So I can't say too much bad, but like I said, efficiency-wise in transferring files and shit, not to mention the built-in noise gates, iPhone is where it's at. Brother, start us off with your first pick of 54 years of August metal.
Nice. All right. From Sweden, we have a band in the 1st of August of 1991. And yes, they had the Heavy Metal 2 Boss pedal, patented Swedish death metal chainsaw tone. And I got to see these guys on their 20th anniversary tour.
Oh, man.
And Cattle Decapitation opened up for them. So I hung out, and a certain vocalist from one of the bands and I went and partook of the Devil's Lettuce. A lot of fun. And anyways, the band I'm talking about is a pretty big one in old school death metal. You're going to have a lot of tremolo picking along with mid-tempo death metal throughout. And I'm talking about Grave, and the album was Into the Grave.
I mean, they pretty much capture it right there. Definitely, I have listened to it a few times back in the day. Can't actually say that I owned it, but I do plan on going back and revisiting this record. Hell yeah.
One of my favorites with this, I mean, every track on it is really fucking good. Like, it's a 4.5 out of 5 stars, maybe 5 out of 5 stars. I like a mid-tempo album with tremolo picking. The vocals are really crisp and guttural, really, really good vocals. The guitars sound great with that Swedish death metal sound from the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fucking dark with them too, and a little bit doomy. So if you want to fast forward about 20 years after this album came out, and then you could check out Valenfire. Like that's another band
Yeah.
really good. Valenfire is more of kind of a mid-tempo with tremolo picking, excellent fucking vocals, really fucking nasty. And fucking Valenfire only put out like 3 albums, and then they broke up in like, I think 2016, which is a real bummer. They're fucking amazing. It's the
That is a
guitarist.
shame.
It's the guitarist. I forget his first name, but it's Macintosh. He's the guitarist, and he's actually the vocalist for Valenfire. Really, really good albums, especially the first one, which is Fragile King. It is so fucking good. So anyways, my first one is Grave, Into the Grave.
Mousebong says, Grave is sick. Babylon asks, what's that lettuce heavy? Of course it was. Mousebong also says, haven't heard them in forever. Hell yeah, good pick. Thanks for the reminder. Kyler says, never heard of Grave, but gonna have to take a listen. See? As a matter of fact, Babylon says, I want a real HM-2 so bad. That pedal that you had mentioned. Mousebong says, haven't heard Valenfire. So that kind of gives us some new listening material.
Oh, yes. The first album, they're all really good albums, but the first one I would listen to is The Fragile King. It's the first one.
That makes sense.
It's like an elite group of metal musicians that are all probably now in their early mid 50s, like, and they fucking hit fucking home run out of home run. I guess maybe he was just too busy with Paradise Lost, because Paradise Lost started hitting it hard again and started picking up momentum and touring a lot more. So I wonder if that was too much, but man, they're so fucking good.
Kyler asks, do they use any special effects?
Grave, not really. And then Mousebong says that they've claimed to have never used the Heavy Metal 2 Boss pedal ever, but it fucking sounds like it. Their tone is really, really good. It's like they're definitely tuned down to at least D standard, and maybe to B. Like, it's really low tuning, but it's crisp and bitey like that Swedish death metal sound is.
Absolutely, man. Excellent pick to work off of. To start with, let's see. Oh, Kyler says, "Oh wow, that is crazy."
So if I still had all my crap, which all my crap is temporarily in Omaha, I would have adorned, because it's cold. The air conditioner is blowing straight on me from right here. I can feel it on my hands right there.
Well, we can't hear.
I'm like kind of cold here. That's why I haven't been wearing tank tops, because I'm freezing my nuts off.
We're missing out on the tattooed nips.
Yeah. But anyways, I have a really old, it even has a hole in the armpit. I need to sew it back up. Long sleeve Grave shirt from like a show in '93, I think.
Nice. So, getting on to my first pick there. This is just seems to be the month for Motorhead. Not only did they release their debut album in August, but later on in the 80s, they released probably one of the I don't know if it would necessarily be larger than their debut, because obviously that album's just full of kick-assery. But man, when this one came out, it was just smoking fucking dirty blues, just dirty old bastards. Power drumming, all different kind of tempo changes, rhythmically, and just fucking killer fucking guitar solos. I'm talking about the album Orgasmatron. So if you haven't gotten down to this one in a while, I definitely recommend it. It's so fucking good. Motorhead is one of those bands that they've put out so many records constantly that they're almost kind of hard to keep up with. But there are definitely albums that stand out in the Motorhead catalog. And with this one, definitely, I love the drum sound on it. The guitar is so prevalent, so nasty. And of course, the great Lemmy himself, the demigod. How could you go wrong?
Yep, definitely have a very patented sound. Sometimes difficult to differentiate between songs or albums, like super, super consistent, but gritty and always a bunch of fun live. But you better fucking wear really good hearing protection.
Yes.
It's obviously for the last, he's been gone about 8 years now.
It's insane.
Yeah, I think Lemmy's been gone about 8 years, but fucking amazing.
I miss it.
Live shows, like amazingly loud though. The fucking loudest. My second loudest show is Napalm Death. They were fucking loud too, but not near as loud. Nobody's as loud as Motorhead. Nobody. Was.
But yeah, so if, like I said, if you haven't gotten down to this one in a while, pull it on back out. We got a fucking slew of comments here. I wonder if the people on YouTube have a little bit of a delay. It's possible. Let's see here. Mousebong says Grave used Boss DS1s with the tone knob cranked. Kyler says, send that AC here, Hoof Beast. I'm dying over here. Oh, man. I'm so sorry. Mousebong says the lowest note in the riff in first riff of the Grave song is the B below the low E in standard guitar tuning. Damn. That's pretty awesome. Cody says, I share a birthday with Bruce Dickinson, apparently, August 7th. Discovered that earlier. How about that? How cool. It's possible these guys are playing 7-string guitars with a low B. That's typically what I would think they're doing. Likely that they've got 6 strings tuned to drop beat tuning. Yeah, probably. Babylon says, hey, Hoof, what that first Grave record to listen to?
Yeah, this is their first. That would be their first one, Into the Grave.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking classic. It's really, really good.
Fuck yeah. Yes, Mousebong says, hell yeah, Motorhead forever, baby. Yes, rest in peace, you fucking animal, you. We miss you every single day. That is for sure. Motorhead will always have a special place in my heart. And I think that's all of us. Not to mention how many fucking bands they've inspired. So, excellent. On to number 2. What you got for the peoples?
Oh, the next one for me. Yeah, so we're gonna go. We're gonna go to Norway, and we finally have a black metal band to show off here. This is a definite classic, must-have album if you are into black metal. If you're interested in getting into black metal, and particularly like the second wave of black metal, this one came out really early on. In 1994, relatively early on. And the band ended up changing its sound entirely within about 8 years from this point. And I'm talking about Enslaved. You cannot read the logo at all, and the album is Frost. Banger throughout. So Loki is the first song that really gets me going from that album, and then
of course,
but everyone throughout. This one is a 4.5 out of 5 stars album. It's really, really, really solid. tremolo picking, really good vocalist, one of my favorite vocalists. And at times, like when I'm recording black metal vocals, I often try to channel the Enslaved vocalist. Like that's who I think of the most. He's relaxed, not hyper distorted when he does it. I think I have a little bit more venom that I throw out because usually my lyrics are really charged and they really fucking piss me off. So when I'm recording these lyrics, I fucking let loose with it. But this one is fucking amazing. It is Enslaved, and the album is Frost. And this is a definite classic. Probably maybe because I wouldn't consider their more recent stuff as black metal anymore. It's more kind of
Right.
black metal-ish. But I would consider Frost album is probably in the top 10, top 20 best black metal albums of all time, maybe.
I would agree with that. I hold this one in very high regard, which I don't know how this slipped through the cracks in my research, but so many of these awesome fucking bands of people that are reporting online about, some of the best releases, they're not picking all the good ones. That's for fucking sure. But yeah, I was going to say, even though that now, people are not so impressed by them, which is unfortunate, but this album shines very, very high in their catalog. Let me see here. Mousepunk says, I almost thought about mentioning this one. I like a few of their albums. Says she needs to hear it again, but also the best part of Enslaved.
Or the vocals, yeah.
Yep. I'm kind of weirdly routine, and when I want to hear Enslaved, I just always go to End Times. Gotcha.
Yeah, for me, my favorite Enslaved is Axioma Ethica Odini. Oh, that fucking album is so good. Proggy, still has the black metal influence, but much more prog.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just saw them not even a year and a half ago. Good show.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so before these guys became the great Trans-Siberian Orchestra, they were a great fucking thrash band back in the day. And when I came across this, I had to say, it's worth mentioning because very, very early Savatage was actually some pretty good thrash. Definitely what you would expect, very old school, super high energy, fast, excellent riffs. I love the guitar solos they do. And just overall a great album. Let's see here. It's called The Hall of the Mountain King. It's one of their big opuses. So, in my opinion. So, if you've never actually really listened to them, or maybe you listened to them a long time ago, by all means, revisit this record because early Savatage is just really good thrash metal.
Yep. I would recommend everybody's got to check it out. There's a lot of thrash from that period that, and unfortunately, it's the more kind of popular stuff that I kind of go to all the time, and it's good to kind of open up to other stuff.
Absolutely. Everything was not just fucking Slayer, Anthrax, and some of the other shit bands that were going on at the time. Let's see here. Babylon says, LOL, making a playlist as we go, guys. I just say thank you so much for doing this show. I get stuck listening to the same old playlist and never growing. Man, this is the same for us. There are times where we're doing the research and stuff, and it's like, God damn, haven't gotten down to this shit in a while. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's as cathartic for us as it is for you. Let's see. Mouseball, can you elaborate on the sound of the album? Is it akin to akin?
Akin.
Oh, akin. Wow. Don't think I've ever heard that word. Akin to another band we love or hate. I don't know. Drums are very fucking flat. So there wasn't too many other thrash bands that quite have the same drum sound. It's very 80s sounding, very thuddy, kind of like, well, you know what? I could actually say kind of reminds me of the first Slayer release sound wise. Just a lot of highs, not so many mids. But the vocals are definitely a lot better than obviously Tom Araya. They're very fast, very rhythmic, that you would expect from thrash. So let's see.
Yeah, but definitely kind of like more of an 80s heavy metal sound as well.
Just very indicative of the big boomy kind of sound. A lot of those early bands. I think it was technology. I think in some ways it was technology. In other ways, it was the musicians themselves, especially drummers. They didn't really know quite how to capture a good drum sound. Everything was made really, really big in those days. Lots of fucking depth. And, you know, at that time, distortion wasn't the greatest either just yet. So the earlier the stuff, you know, had happened, they just, no one really knew how to really capture it. That's why a lot of those records, I mean, it also kind of reminds me of early Exodus. I could say that too. Maybe even super early Creator in many ways.
Maybe not quite as gritty or dirty.
No, definitely not. Just fucking flat sounding. You know, it's one of those records that you really got to turn it up to catch it all, and really good earbuds. Hey, what's going on, brother Aaron? Good to see you, sir. Glad you could make it. Let's see here. Mousebong says, this is not the Sabotage record I know, so that's why I asked. No worries. I was really just trying to rack my fucking brain. Because, you know, if I remember correctly, this was August of '84. I'll have to fact check myself on that, but those early records did not sound very good. Roadrunner or Road Racer, I think, was the one label that really captured a better sound for a lot of these more, hardcore bands sound-wise. Because if you think of Fatal Portrait by King Diamond, which came out right around the same time, the drum sound, the guitar sound is very kind of suppressed. It's very clean sounding. But, you know, with thrash, you do want a lot more of that grit. This just doesn't, it's not nearly as gritty. So let's see what else. Mousebong says, okay, right on. Thanks. I get what you mean. ESP with the highs. Yes. Everything just seemed like it was all so high up and there was just no range for the guitars. So that's why it used to get, if you remember those big fat fucking earphones that we used to use back in them days, everything got distorted as fuck if you just cranked it as much as you wanted to. Aaron says, I'm making a melting fizzy face for Killer Cox. Yes, we love to hear that, man. Your creations are top fucking notch. And loving my Tracks of the Den. Hell yeah. All right, what you got for us, brother?
Oh, my next one is another prog band.
Mm-hmm.
And out of Canada. The guitarist is no longer with us, Really
Oh,
iconic guitarist, amazing guitarist.
that was a damn shame.
And this is probably their 5th or 6th release. It came out on the 3rd of August, 1993, and I fucking loved it. I didn't like that they didn't use their digital stuff anymore, but these guys do definitely have a spacey sort of sound, but very prog sound.
Yes.
This album's really good. I wouldn't say it's a 5 out of 5 stars, but it's probably like a 4 out of 5 stars album in my opinion, but it's really good. It's not near as gritty or heavy as Roar or Dimension Hatros or even Nothing Face, not as gritty. It's a more clean sounding, but it's still really, really good. And I'm talking about Voivod, The Outer Limits. Remember when I got this, they made a big deal with it. You got a tiny pair of 3D glasses with it. And I got it on cassette. So those fucking 3D glasses were tiny. And I know they're trying to make this more like cartoony look, but it didn't do anything really special. It did make the alien's head look more like round inside that kind of glass bowl. But yeah, this album, it is on purpose spacey. They have an alien on the front of it, so it's spacey right away with that.
Reminds me of like old comic book or old sci-fi movie.
Yeah. And these guys will slow down quite a bit, and they'll use like little clean tones in there, clean arpeggios here and there. And I don't know. I just always loved this album. I have almost every album they did. They lost Snake, their vocalist, for a little bit of time, and I did buy one of them, but they weren't the same band anymore. I tried to see him last year, but I just flipping missed him. I forgot why.
That changing of the guard sometimes really does make a huge difference. Mousebong mentions Voivod Chronic from August of 2000.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I think they may have had the other vocalist for that album. So I don't remember. I only have one. I don't remember the name of it because I don't have my library with me right now. I could go grab it. Yeah, I really like Voivod. My favorite album is Nothing Face. So if you're new to Voivod, Nothing Face is really good. I would say the last 4 albums they've done are pretty damn good as well. But Nothing Face, Dimension Hatros is probably my second favorite. The Outer Limits is probably my third, and Angel Rat's probably my 4th favorite.
Hell yeah. Definitely one of those bands that shined and stood out from the rest of what was coming out at that time. That's for fucking sure. I wasn't able to get this slide up, but since we mentioned some good death metal that came out in the 80s, since we're still kind of in that decade, I did my entire list today by decade: 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. But I think we've drawn your guys' attention out there in the Morgrot universe to a band, a good American death metal band. I know we're always thinking of like the Swedish and all that stuff, but this one came out in August of 87, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that. I may have to fact check myself again, but we have mentioned this band before, and it's one of those bands that might not be on everybody's radar. I'm sure Mousebong, though, and of course, Hoofbeast, you definitely know, and possibly a few others, but Atheist, Piece of Time. Damn it. Son of a whore. You can kind of see it. There we go.
There we go.
The artwork, oh man. I can only remember a handful of times where bands have used a clock as their front cover. And it just seems crappy, shitty, stupid looking, pretentious maybe. But theirs is a little bit more. I love how the light coming down from the actual timepiece Looks like it's creating something within the Stonehenge that sits below it. But not only that, we're talking about just a great death metal band. Kind of somewhat borders on a little bit of thrash here and there, but it's definitely heavier vocals, harsher vocals, and just very good riffing, very chuggalicious. And all around, just a really good sounding record too. So, I would, if you're a death metal fan, period, especially early death metal like Death and some of the others, Obituary and whatnot, you'll definitely dig this record as well.
Yeah, so this album in particular is a pioneering album. These guys led the fucking way, hands down. Nobody else did it as early or like they did with introducing jazz into the band. So Roger Patterson is the bassist for them, and he died in an accident in, I think it was like August of 1990, maybe. And in 2 months, they already had Tony Choi come up from Brazil, a really great bass player, and he recorded Persistence of Time, which was their second album. But Roger Patterson, so fucking good. And live, he's a fucking animal. Of course, plays with his fingers. Really complicated stuff. And he was the heart and soul of that band. They had already written the whole album. And so all Tony Choi had to do is listen to the demos, figure out what Roger had been doing, and then record that. So it's really sad. I saw them about 10 months after Roger had passed away, and I talked to Kelly Schaefer, he's the vocalist, about it. Kelly Schaefer now has like really bad tendonitis in his left hand. No, in his right hand, because he's a left-handed guitarist. And he no longer plays guitar for Atheist. And they're actually on tour right now.
Hell yeah.
We came through a couple years ago with Carcass. But this album is fucking prog, fucking death jazz with it does have a thrashy character as well. They do have a bit of thrash in there. But they were groundbreakers. I fucking jumped onto them right away. I did a stage dive when I saw them. They opened up for Cannibal Corpse on the Butchered at Birth tour. I did a stage dive with only about 7 or 8 people in the audience. I landed on my feet. But I had to get on the stage for them and try to stir up the crowd of 8. But yeah, and
that's badass and sad all at the same time.
Yeah, and boy, does this band ever love the fucking Devil's Lettuce too.
Oh, I'm sure. I have no doubt. At least you didn't end up like Jack Black in the movie School of Rock, where he stage dives and no one catches him and he just hits face plant on the fucking ground. But yeah, as a matter of fact, funny thing that they opened up for Cannibal. The bassist for Cannibal actually cited their original bassist as one of his biggest influences in the game.
So the dude is fucking nuts. Like, he would take Cliff Burton's ass and he would kick it through a 55-yard field goal. Fucking Roger Patterson is an amazing fucking bassist. And Steve Flynn is their drummer. He was fucking sick. He was introducing jazz character into the band that in no other band was playing drums. Then Sean Reinert
utilized those cymbals. Yeah.
And Sean Reinert comes out like 2 years later with Death Human. And I was like, well, dude, Steve's already been doing this shit. And then Steve really poured it on thick with the Unquestionable Presence album. Oh, man, it's so good. Like, this is one of my favorite metal bands all time, and super nice guys.
But yet they don't end up on certain lists very often, and that's just unfortunate. I think a lot of listeners are forgetting like you said, just exactly how groundbreaking they were at that time for kind of, you know, paving the way for what was to come in the 90s.
Yeah.
Um,
Her, you know, one of the most underrated bands all time. I mean, like Alex Webster's. Alex Webster will tell you, you know, any of our, I'll bet you David Vincent and Trey Azagot, those guys will talk about them. They all knew everybody. These guys are from Tampa, the Tampa area. Also, Kelly, Steve, and the guitarist all were going to one of those music schools, like Music Institute.
Yep.
They all were at that, and they were all studying jazz. The lead guitarist, Kelly Schaefer, played guitar and handled vocals, and then Steve. All of them were friends together, kind of like Reaper's favorite band, Dream Theater, when they were out in Berkeley together.
Well, if they were going to school in Florida, then it was probably one of the branches of MIT, Musicians Institute. If my memory serves me, I don't even know if those are still around. They have to be. I know Berkeley didn't go anywhere. That's for sure. But yeah, Mouse Bong, School of Rock was fucking cute. I watch it at least 2 or 3 times a year, just because that was me for a very long time. And there's so many moments that I was like, well, I guess I kind of appeared to be a Jack Black every now and again in my approach. But yeah, just a great album. Great fucking band. Go for it, my brother.
All right. I don't know if you were able to get that image up for Soilwork.
Oh, yes, I did.
All right. Yeah, sorry, guys. It's my fault that it's blurry. I didn't have time to go back and find a better one. It's really a bunch of. Yeah, and this album is fucking amazing, guys. Sometimes bands will put out an amazing album, like maybe their first 2 or 3 are amazing albums, and then they kind of coast for a while. And I kind of felt like Soilwork is a band that did that. Like after Stabbing the Drama, which came out like in 2005 or 2004, they kind of coasted, and I still bought every one of their albums, and I still like them. I bought their last album that came out like 2 years ago. That's a good album as well. But when The Ride Majestic came out, I think it came out in 2015. Let's see, where was that? 28th of August in 2015. I was like, fuck yes, this fucking album is really, really fucking good. They've gone back to like Stabbing the Drama, but this is a little bit of a heavier album and a little bit more of a complicated album. Stabbing the Drama, you might say, is maybe a little bit more in the kind of metalcore vein, but this one is more defined as Soilwork. It's very refined, complex, really good clean singing, and really good distorted, well, more kind of yells. He doesn't really do like death metal.
Sure.
But this album is, every fucking song on it is really good. Like I don't need to name really any of them. They're all really, really good. If you want a sleeper album that you, or and maybe a new band to check out that has clean and also kind of yelling, kind of growls, this is an excellent album. You won't go wrong with it.
You could say it's metalcore-ish, but to me, it doesn't capture that completely. I think they just had a very good non-pussified way of doing what they do compared to what, you know, the metalcore of today is like. It was harder. They still had attitude. You could still tell that they, you know, were fucking angry or just attitude-ish kind of dudes in the delivery of the things that they sang about. Musically, definitely much better than most metalcore bands. You really couldn't take this record and put it up against a lot of these nickel and dime bands that are out there today, and I know everybody has so much love for that. But Soilwork, though, much heavier. I definitely got a hell of a lot more respect for them. Cody says Soilwork is that album you put on a just fucking throw down at life. Yeah, like I said, they're not whining, they're not crying. They're just like telling you about, you know, what they experience. Could really definitely kind of be in tune with it. Let's see. Earlier Soilwork is for sure melodic metalcore, which isn't always bad. I like the anti-fascism themes. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they're not really whining and crying, and that's what all these metalcore bands today are like, in my opinion. That's just me, though. Everybody else out there, you're allowed to love what you love. Nothing wrong with that. All right.
Oh, wait, Lizzie has joined us.
Oh, shit. I thought she was there the whole time. Well, what's up, girl?
Maybe she has been and I missed it. Sometimes if I scroll up, then I miss seeing people in there.
Ah, yeah, for sure.
No, I don't see it anymore.
I am the same. Since we're, you know, freakishly getting into the upper decades now, it's definitely a good time to bring up this iconic fucking record. Definitely, for the first couple of albums of their early days from their inception, this band hadn't truly come into their own yet. Even with Bloody Kisses, they still hadn't quite got there yet. But there were moments on that record where you could hear what was about to come as they started to become into their own sound wise, songwriting wise, and of course that fucking voice. Fucking hell. You guys know what the hell I'm talking about. October fucking Rust came out August of 96. This is the first time, in my opinion, since the single Black Number One came out, that they literally sounded like Typo Negative and not the band that Peter had come from. Because the what was it? Origin of the Feces was very much still. I always want to say Carcass, but that was not the band he was in. Son of a bitch, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. My bad. Polish the steel. Nicely done, Babylon. But this record had hit after hit. It was a gothic piece of mass carnivore. There it is. See, it had the same letter. I'm getting old, people. I can't always keep this shit straight. Those first couple of Typo records were definitely carnivore songs that never got recorded. But by this album, they had arrived, in my opinion, and this is 1,010% fucking mastery of their gothic doom style. And at its core, though, Peter Steele was very much a old school kind of rock and roll guy. And it's pretty prevalent on some of the tracks. But Love You to Death, I don't think when that song came out, I think so many babies were conceived at the time that track came out. It was like the ultimate gothic dark love song, which is really kind of funny because the whole album is based on him getting with this girl, and by the end of it, he kills her and then is haunted by her ghost at the end. But then, you throw in there My Girlfriend's Girlfriend and Wolf Moon. It's just so many classics came off this fucking record. And, fucking Cinnamon Girl cover. How good was that? Mm-hmm. So nasty, but fucking darkly sexy in a metal way. So if you haven't gotten down to this one in a while, put that sumbitch on and let St. Peter take care of
you. and Typo Negative is a band that does a great justice and maybe even improves fucking other people's work.
Oh,
They
big
do
time.
a really good job because they make it typo negative, and typo negative's pretty fucking unique, especially with Peter Steele's voice. But this fucking album, I remember the first time I listened to it, first listen through, fucking amazing album, excellent album. And it's kind of like if you're like I listened to a lot of really, really dark music.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a nice, it's still heavy. It's
Yeah,
got the low
in
end,
its way.
but it's kind of like a, you know, a little bit of a release and a little bit of relax. But I love this.
Absolutely.
Very, very good album. If you're not into typo negative, and this album would actually be a really, really good intro.
Good place
if
to
you're not
start.
into
Yes.
typo negative.
I mean, and it could be very aggressive in its own way. And it was really in those tense moments that were so fucking slow. You know what I mean? The slow grooves, the slow rhythms. Mouse Bong says October Rust is a masterpiece. Yes, indeed. I want Kenny's signature chorus pedal, but it's like $400 or more. Well, shit, yeah. It's got it's Kenny's fucking signature, of course. And Babylon also says, I agree with Mouse on that. It is definitely a masterpiece. So if you're a super heavy listener, you know, this would be a great way to take a break. You know, just like Hoofbeast said. So, all right. What do we got for him, brother?
Well, what we have next is a band that we've dogged out quite a bit lately. But then we also came back and we said good things about it just last week.
Yes, we did.
And then this is the only album that where I really like Joey Belladonna's vocals. I thought he did his best work on the Persistence of Time album. And Anthrax came out with the Persistence of Time album on the 21st of August, 1990. I thought the production was outstanding. I thought the sound the songwriting was much more memorable and catchy and groovy and chuggalicious than that shitball that you brought out the other time, the one with the swirling kind of targets and shit like that. Where's that?
Oh man, I know exactly what you're talking about. The whole band on this record got serious because they got caught in this little
State
world.
of Euphoria. State of Euphoria is the shit
was
album.
fucking awful.
It has one good song and that's it.
Yes. And I was like, also, they kind of became a joke band. No one was really taking them seriously on that record. Because, I mean, the lyrics were stupid. I mean, I get it. They were having fun. But by the time we got to this record, it seemed like they got a bit of their cred back. And then, of course, John Bush comes in and just ups the game 1,000,000,000 times. But they squeaked a good one out.
Yeah, this is a good album. Like they did. God, who is the guy? Just had his name. He's a rocker. He's kind of like Jackson Browne. Jackson Browne's Time album is one that they covered, and they knocked that cover out of the park. It doesn't even sound like Jackson Browne very much. Like,
I'm sure you don't.
I think that's who it was. But Time, I fucking love that. And I was in a band and we played that song as a cover. Easy fucking song to play, which as most Anthrax albums are. But Blood, Keep It in the Family is a really good song.
Yep.
Yeah, In My World, Gridlock, Belly of the Beast. Oh, wait, Got the Time. Got the Time is the Jackson Browne song. Yeah, Time was the intro where they just have the clocks ticking and stuff at the beginning of the album. Yeah.
Got time. Time is ticking in my head. Got time. Took it down. Yeah. Just a great record.
If you're gonna listen to Anthrax, to me, Among the Living is pretty damn good album. Persistence of Time is really good, and then jump to John Bush and The Sound of White Noise, which
Oh.
came out right after Persistence of Time. But
Mm.
really damn good albums.
So good. By the way, Mouse Bong, don't you dare get rid of that. Keep it for a while longer, because I'm telling you that's going to be worth even more than it's worth now. She has she says my typo vinyl collection is worth a shit ton, apparently. Yes, it is. But if you want it to be worth even more, hold on to it for at least another decade. I would not get rid of that. Because now they're reissuing everything, which means people that are serious vinyl collectors want those originals. They want those original pressings. So definitely hold on to that. Hell yeah. She goes, oh no, I'll never get rid of my vinyl. I've been collecting since I was 13. Yeah, I wish everybody would do that. And I plan to will them to my spawn. Yes. Just as long as they are deserving of it. These things are sacred. Excellent fucking record, definitely.
And she named a couple more really good tracks in.
Yes, she did. Gridlock and Intro to Reality. Fuck yeah.
Really good.
Oh my goodness. There's just so many good ones. Where do I want to go? Oh, I know. Let's take it back into the realm of death metal, or black metal, actually, because this month is not very black metal heavy at all. And I mean, it makes total fucking sense. Now, obviously, what was it last year? I think it was 2023. Blut aus Nord put out a fucking banger of a record in 2023. I didn't want to mention that one, other than making, I guess, more of an honorable mention because it's so recent. But I wanted to go back a little bit, and I found this fucking gem. Fucking Gorguts, man. Colored Sands. Now, when I showed this to Hoofbeast earlier, he was so fucking excited. You want to go ahead and tell him a little bit about this record?
This album, I think, is 2 albums past Obscura that came out in '98. And it's really good. It's a little bit more refined than Obscura. And he's using vocals now that are a little bit more deep and kind of garbled than what he did. But Obscura is fucking amazing. But Colored Sands also is an excellent, excellent album. I'm trying to remember. I think Colored Sands also has a symphonic piece, because he is also a producer or composer. Sorry. Yeah. And he actually studied classical music in, I think, Quebec. And yes, Mouse Bong, Blut aus Nord, that fucking album is really fucking good. That album is like it's like a crazy fucking horror soundtrack.
Yes.
One of the best from last year.
But I was like, I came across that and I was like, son of a bitch. Yes, finally something completely dark and so fucking heavy. And I agree with that comment 1,000%. From Obscura, obviously that was a great fucking album, but this one just seemed a little bit more, like you said, composer driven. Even in just the fucking, oh damn it, Mouse Bong. She mentioned one of the ones that I got. I was all fucking excited. She already mentioned it. But that's okay. We'll give credence to it, of course.
Yeah. We'll have to show the album cover, because you already showed me you had the album cover for the Wild.
I do. And what a fucking album cover. I love it so much. But definitely more refined, very technical. And, you know, the symphonic stuff, I don't mind with them on this record at all. So it's not real heavy laden. Very good use of all of those types of parts with the black metally ooey goodness, as I like to call it. But it's blast beat, Alicious, very, very. I'm speaking in rhythm, so I want to make sure I don't fuck it up when I say it. Just really good use of space is what I want to say. Both in riff and with the drum changes, because sometimes it sounds like it's going two different directions, but they're not super progging it up. But there are just some moments in there. The fucking fills they come out of nowhere, and it's like, whoa, what just happened? And the vocals are fantastic.
Yeah, no, like on this album, it's an actual symphonic piece. Like, if you guys want to hear it, and it's really like, I love it.
I wish I could play some of it.
It's really fucking good. Like he is super, 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 super talented with what he does. But if you're into the weird side of metal,
yes,
and the dissonant, odd time changes and stuff, Gorguts are probably like. So Atheist made a big change with Persistence of Time, which what you brought up earlier. They are groundbreakers. And then Gorguts in '98 with Obscura came through and just took a fucking bat and hit a home run through anything Atheist had done and said, oh, fuck no. You think that's fucking pioneering? Here is fucking avant-garde pioneering fucking metal. And Colored Sands is very similar. It's still weird time changes, weird ass prog, jazz stuff in it, but really heavy, but more refined and a little more complicated, dare I say. So
yeah,
really good album.
That's why I was saying, just great use of space, and every transition is so fluid. And a lot of the time, guys, they're not just doing odd time signatures. They're doing 3/4, and just so many different feels. Yes, I could not agree with that comment more, Mouseball. It's especially the sophisticated weird. That is the best thing to call that. Because when somebody says prog, it drives a lot of people away. But you got to think about it in black metal terms. It just makes it that much more amazing to me. And you hear a lot of other bands today, you can't tell me they don't, that took some pages out of this record.
Yeah, I saw them in probably like '91 with their first album, and they were really good, but they weren't anything special. They were just straight up old school death metal. And then when Obscura came, I was just like, holy shit, this is good. This is bizarre, pioneering. Like, I love them. I'm hoping they have a new album. I need to actually research and see. This is the year we were hoping they were going to put out another album, because they haven't put one out in about 9 years. But they've been touring. They've been touring, and I definitely want to go see them again.
Well, I'll definitely jump on that train, because I want to check them out. I got to get the live experience.
All right. I think this is going to be my last one until we get into and then just do
honorable mentions.
Yeah, honorable mentions. So you might not think this is metal, but I don't care.
I do.
I think I am 1,000 times better looking than their guitarist. And that's a total joke. But these guys I've mentioned before. If you come here, I've mentioned these guys before. And they opened up for the Clash of the Titans. They went on before Anthrax. After Anthrax was Megadeth, and after Megadeth was fucking Slayer on the Seasons of the Abyss tour. and they played a lot. They played Raining Blood, and Slayer also played South of Heaven. So fucking good. But Alice in Chains Facelift. I heard the album the first fucking time, and it was so fucking good. And this is another album that has enough heavy and flange in it, and it's really, really good. Poor Cody. Cody's not feeling well.
Oh no!
Well, Cody, you can
What
still
happened?
watch this on YouTube. Go back and watch it later on.
By the way, I just want to say there is a very bad bout of COVID going on right now. So please be fucking careful, especially all of us that are on the road a lot. Personally, I think it's my bourbon regimen that keeps me from getting a lot because from the set that I was on last week, somebody came down with it. Now I heard a second person has. So it's like keep yourselves protected, folks. Somehow be using that fucking sanitizer, whatever the fuck.
Yep, like bringing up this Facelift album, I think I'm speaking to the choir. Hopefully everybody's already heard of Alice in Chains and Facelift. But this album is one, to me, it's like a 5 out of 5 stars album. Their next album, Dirt, is like 5 out of 5 stars. It's so fucking good. And when they played, I walked down and got really close to where I could see Jerry Cantrell and Lane Staley like right up close, because not everybody was there. I think the arena, I saw them in Atlanta, and I think the arena was only about half full when I saw them, but fucking amazing album. I have loved those first 2 albums ever since then. They're fucking bangers. They're heavy. They even sound a little bit like Southern rock a bit, but
in a lot of ways, yeah.
So fucking good. Excellent production on the album, but everybody should have already heard of these guys.
Oh, of course they have. Now, this is one of those bands that came out of the era of what everyone likes to, I call it the G word, the grunge era. And to be perfectly fucking honest, yes, Cody, please get better. Got to take care of yourself, brother. That, to me, they didn't fit what that term consisted of in the music world, because they were the darkest of all of them, out of Soundgarden, out of Nirvana. You can say what you want. People fucking slap me around. Don't even put them up against Pearl Jam. Fuck that bullshit. Pearl Ham. That's what I call them. But seriously, they brought a darkness and a heaviness in a way that it wasn't anything like that cookie cutter grunge sound to me. They were kind of like reinvented what heavy metal is in a way with their sound. It's definitely not the first time we heard a metal band harmonize vocals. And, you know, to be perfectly honest, no one did it better. Because I seen them live. And yes, I actually went to the Lollapalooza tour to see them, just to catch them and Tool, because I saw them both at the same time. And it came to Akron at the time. So I was like, yeah, definitely got to see both of these bands. And I thought, oh, man, yeah, they were slow. I mean, there were so many different elements to me that were, yeah, it was different, but how different from regular, just straight on metal? You know what I mean? Yeah, it wasn't it was more like just slowing it down a little bit. I mean, Man in a Fucking Box. Dirt is one of those records that will probably be in my top 50 of all time in my life. I mean, both of these records, so fucking good.
And another
Yes,
thing to consider, and another thing to consider about them is the vocal relations between Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah.
Like on this
The
album,
harmonization.
Facelift, that song Sunshine, when those two are fucking harmonizing and they slow everything down, fucking goosebumps, fucking beautiful, beautiful stuff together. Fucking magic.
No other vocal duo has been able to do anything like these two guys. Nothing against the current guy, because he did a really good job stepping in after, Lane lost his battle. But just magic. Mousebong says, yep, the drummer is so crisp and creative. Very much so for being a simple player. Very creative in his rhythms. I played in, goodness gracious, I had to cover them all through high school because, I mean, it was popular and everybody wanted to play fucking Man in a Box or Wood. Wood was like my favorite fucking track of all time, even though that was on Dirt. But still, just so many good songs. And there was that blues element to Jerry Cantrell, very evident on his solo record when he did his solo record. Now, I don't know if you heard, but Jerry Cantrell's new album that just dropped is fucking disgusting heavy, according to critics. And these are the guys that like to tear shit apart. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get a chance to see what the hype is about this thing, because they're all saying it's Jerry Cantrell like you ain't never heard him. I'm looking forward to it. I just haven't got to it yet. Yeah, Mousebong says, oh, dude, Odie, Down in a Hole. What a fucking great, miserable song. I say that with love because if you're having a shit fucking day, you could put that song on and suddenly it makes things better. Or Rain When I Die. That was another song that I just would belt my horrible vocals to in the car if I was driving somewhere. Yes, Mousebong, definitely love Jerry Cantrell's solo stuff. It's different. It's, I don't know, in some ways even better. Although if Lane was still here today, I wonder, what that would be like. Because they were really heading somewhere. I even loved that acoustic record. Did you ever get down to that one, Hoof Beast?
Yeah, it's good. I tend to not like it is good, especially with the two singing together. But
it was psychotic.
I want to hear Jerry's fucking guitars. Well, Jerry's
Yep.
Jerry's, the bite in Jerry's tone. Mm-hmm. And he uses like a flange sometimes. It's so tasty.
Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Mousebong says it's got the change sound because he was the heart of that band, and it's got a nice sophisticated blues feel too. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, what was that one track off of Facelift? We Die Young. Oh, love the guitar work on that song. Oh, it's so great to go down memory lane with y'all. Oh, fuck. Who do I want to... Oh, this is so fucking hard. Oh, my goodness. I mean, there's so many of these bands that we've talked about many, many times on this show. And I think I'm going to go ahead and choose this one to be my fifth, especially because one of the greatest tour spots in New York City has officially closed their doors. They can't keep it going, and it's a fucking shame because some of the greatest bands have graced the stage at this place. But we're talking about, when we talk about the big four in doom, this band is very, very synonymous with that. They got more of a metally kind of a guitar versus the traditional doom sound that you would get with a lot of big staple doom bands. But this album should be in your fucking catalog. Saint Vitus, oh my goodness, I can't even say it right. Mournial Cries. There we go. I got it out. They were a bit heavier than your traditional doom band, both in sound and power. Because, you know, typically when you think of doom metal, you think of very fuzzy, very, you know, SG driven. But they were still riff heavy, but more metal, in my opinion. One of my dream concerts would be to see Saint Vitus with oh man, son of a bitch. I keep wanting to say, huh?
COC.
I mean, that would be cool too if COC was the opener.
Mm-hmm.
No, Candlemass. I would like to see Candlemass and fucking Saint Vitus together on the same night. That would be a dream for me. Vocals, definitely not the operatic stuff. Just really good melodic voice. I love the drummer. Very creative, very groove oriented. Bass tone is really good as well because, you know, I'm a bass nut. I'm always going to be. But then again, at the same token, I mean, the guitar and myself are also super important. But go ahead.
No, my phone just died.
Oh, you're like, oh,
see, I have this thing. So this is the third time I have to charge it today. This piece of shit just fucking dies all the time.
Now, see, that's why we had the iPhone fucking discussion earlier, because I only have to charge this bitch once a day, and you all know I use my phone all fucking day long for everything. Greatest battery in the world, but still, Saint Vitus, nasty, heavy, so good and doomy. Essential for your doom metal collection.
All right. We're going to do honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
Got a damn mosquito. I got a mosquito that bit me right here, that fucker. Must have been when I was sleeping last night. He's a fat little fuck flying around in here. He's loaded with my fucking blood.
So first on the honorable mentions, this is definitely one that is near and dear to not just Hoofbeast's heart, but as well as mine. Actually, this is a twofer because his favorite album by this band also came out in August. We have Ashes of the Wake by Lamb of God, but Sacrament was also released in August.
Fucking amazing. And they're on tour with this album right now, and they're playing the entire album. I really want to catch the show. And the same thing, like Mastodon's playing the entire Leviathan album.
It's fucking breaking my heart. They ain't coming anywhere near me. Fuck.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're in Omaha. Like in 10 days.
On fucking holy hell. In 10 days, I'm not even going to be here.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like the 24th or 25th.
Guys out there in the Morgrut universe, this spooky season right now is way busier than I've ever had it. So it's going to be film, con. It's ridiculous. But yeah, if y'all get a chance, definitely, if they come to your area, catch that fucking show. Here's another addict favorite that also popped up. Fucking Opeth, man.
Ooh, man. So fucking good. And Ghost Reveries also came out in the month of August. but I don't like Ghost Reveries very much. I think it's a flat, kind of boring album. But My Arms, Your Hearse is so fucking good. This album is excellent. This is my favorite Opeth album.
I would actually say I think it's the best they put out.
Yeah.
It's really, really tough to live up to.
Yep. Like this one, like what is it? Morning Rise. That one's really good. And then I really like Blackwater Park. Even what's the red one? Shit. Yeah, all the Orchid is the first one. Orchid sounds like they're more melodic in that one and a little bit more kind of good Metallica influence, not shit Metallica.
Right.
Oh, I fucking love My Arms, Your Hearse is such a fucking good album. Great album to drive, a great album to go to sleep with too. Like it's like a fucking ride through the dark.
That's kind of how I feel about this next band.
Still Life, yes. Mousebong. Yeah, it's Still Life. That's the red one. I think it came out after Morning Rise.
Yep.
It's really, really good. That one's good too. Deliverance is good. Yep. It's like after Deliverance, that's when I kind of was like, the last two albums I wasn't as interested in. And then once they got proggy and stopped growling, not interested.
See,
I don't remember if it's Damnation or Deliverance is the one that's like clean vocals throughout. It's one of those two.
Mm-hmm. There's those bands that can get away with a move like that. This band just wasn't one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, these early records, if you guys out there in the More Right universe have not gotten down to it and don't understand what we're saying, please check it out for yourself. The early fucking records, especially this one.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh man. Now, good for your fucking doom metal soul. Definitely a good Devil's Lettuce record to get down to. But if you have not gotten down to fucking Yob, which is more of a doom stoner band, I definitely recommend checking this record out. And unfortunately, the title is not on there, and I forgot what the fuck it was. Son of a bitch. But I recommend just about anything out of Yob's fucking catalog if you want a little bit of a slower, groovier, very atmospheric look and groove, you know, from your extreme catalog. Definitely recommend Yob.
Yeah, Damnation Mousebong is like I love that one. It's really good. Like that's something I'll listen to, and I like it way better than the more recent clean vocal stuff they're doing. To me, this was more like jazz prog influenced. It is a good album.
Absolutely. And I thought,
but Yob I saw with Paul Bearer just over a year ago. And if you go see
so fucking good,
the songs are pretty repetitive. Like every song kind of sounds the same.
They're drony,
stoner doom. Like you better be smoking some. Yeah, you better be smoking some Devil's Lettuce when you go see them. But the bass, the way the bass is turned up is, and it's thick, like it'll go right through your chest.
It will destroy you.
Heavy. And Paul Bearer did the same thing. And I was telling somebody recently that I thought Paul Bearer, God, this album is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Also came out in August.
That one's so fucking good. But anyways, when you go see them live, get ready to feel the fucking bass like none other. You will fucking feel it, even with Paul Bearer. But anyways, I was talking with somebody about the more recent Paul Bearer album, which is excellent. It's a very good album, and we covered it last week.
We did.
I felt like it needed more bass. And then I went and listened to it right after. I've listened to it like 5 times since. And I thought, no, I can really hear the bass. What I was really trying to say, thinking back about it, was you can't substitute the bass that they produce live on an album.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it was way better live. Their fucking sound was so nasty and driven by the bass. It was like a whole new level for Paul Bear, especially.
I was gonna say that I sometimes forget that not everybody out in the Morgott universe knows this, but you know that you're at a fucking stellar doom metal show when the bass plus that fuzzy fucking guitar blows your wig back, sometimes making you look like me. You know what I'm saying? It is just, I love that feel. There's nothing like it. It's gonna be loud. I almost kind of like feel a Motorhead presence when it comes to that, but they, you know, some of the pedals and shit that they are, that the fucking heads, those orange heads especially, are going to fucking hit you in the chest with all the warm fuzzies like you had a fucking vibrator strapped to yourself the whole time. And you just kind of like get caught in this tractor beam. It's fucking amazing. Love it, love it, love it.
Reaper, I'm never having a vibrator strapped to myself.
Neither am I.
No.
Neither am I. But I'm just.
But if you guys want a track, and this is my favorite track for Paul Bear out of all of their songs, it's Worlds Apart, and it's on the album that Foundations of Burden that Reaper just showed you, the red one.
Mm-hmm.
Worlds Apart, that fucking song, and they played it live when I saw them last year. Oh god, it's so good.
See, I knew Mousebong would enjoy my comment. Play the guitar with a vibrator like the guy from Anvil. See? Now, as a matter of fact, thanks to Mousebong, that was a great segue to this next one. She said, Canatonia-esque. Well, as a matter of fact, Tonight's Decision came out in August as well. Oh, I just fucking love that front cover as well. Very Edgar Allan Poe-esque, in my opinion. Definitely a celebrated band that we have talked about many, many fucking times. Super
like
cool.
A very prog death doom kind of album.
Yep.
And then they switched not too long after that and added in more clean vocals.
Which is why I was glad that this album came up. And not one of those.
Cody, are you trying to shit on my night?
Oh no. What happened?
He brought up Sleep Token.
Damn it, man. Stop it. They have a graphic novel being released. What? Is it all fucking with masks? Because that's about all you're going to get. Now, I could see Ghost pulling a move like that, which, by the way, there was a Ghost record that came out in August, the month of August as well. But no. Yeah, see, I totally agree with you, Mouseball. She said, oh, fuck, Tonight's Decision is beautiful. Yes, it's a great fucking record. Yeah, right. She says, I bet Sleep Token's novel will be very 50 Shades of Grey inspired. That's what I was saying. It's just going to be a fucking sex book. Who fucking wants that? Not from those little skinny fucks. You got Reaper with Dream Theater, so I had to. See? Way to go, Cody. Yes, corny, very. Who wants to fucking see that? I know I don't. But I'm sure there's a horny teenager somewhere that's going to want it. But I would much rather get down with this one, Watain came out with an awesome fucking record in August as well. Probably one of the first black metal bands to do it, especially this day and age. And this was brought up by Mousebong earlier, The Wild Hunt. What can we say but motherfucking bad ass? There is nothing about this band that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful fucking stage presence. Shit. This record
all of
is a whole
all of
new
the
level
visuals with their stage. The arpeggio.
He needs to leave the animal blood alone, though.
In there. Yep. Yeah, I think he's gotten sick like a bunch of times. And I think I read that article like in 2010 where Daniel was talking about getting sick from his jacket.
Yup.
Having pig blood. Yeah, I have never seen them live. They were supposed to open up for Mayhem and with Midnight, and they fucking couldn't get in our country. Fucking bullshit. I bet they're so pissed and they never want to come to America again after that. Like all of the expense and the preparation to go overseas and play.
Oh, Mousebong, I feel so bad. Oh, she said she got drenched in the pig's blood from that show and puked on the singer. Yes, as well as you should have. Guys, as much as that seems really fucking cool, it's not when you actually get hit with it. That's the one thing about Sam Hain that I just don't understand. How the hell Glenn, Eerie Vaughn, and the rest of Sam Hain did not get sick from doing that show where they would take, bits of it and throw it on themselves. The smell alone, unholy fuck. But damn it, super cool as an effect. Now, I think we'll close it out with this last one because it's the last one that I have. I think it is, yeah. So this is one that is also near and dear to most of our beings as far as the Morgrot universe goes. Tool, Fear Inoculum. It's fucking Tool. There was a little bit of gripe about this record, but still, at the end of the day, it's Tool. It just seems a little bit uninspired to me. Not my favorite of their catalog, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I fucking love that album. It's very refined. I fucking love it. It's probably my third favorite of all of their albums. I really, really liked that album. And yeah, a lot of people thought that they were kind of chilling out
rushed.
with it. Fucking Rush. Not to me. Not to me. Fucking Rush. They took like how many years before they came out with that fucker? Good gosh, how many years was it? Like 15 years, I think, between albums.
Yep, because Maynard kept pushing it off.
No, it's mostly because of that was a little bit of it, but it was because of a lawsuit. It was a lawsuit with the artist for 10,000 Days, and
yes,
they were just kind of mired in that.
I don't know, just not as strong as their previous effort, in my opinion. But that's cool.
I would take it over 10,000 Days anytime. Like 10,000 Days has Vicarious. I love that song. It has a few on there that are really good, but yeah, I love that album. I have a whole bunch of honorable mentions.
Let's get it.
Testament, Practice What You Preach came out on the 4th of August, 1989. A really good album with a shit drum sound, or at least the snare sound like shit on that album.
Very flat. Yes.
Wasp, their self-titled first album that came out, and it actually made it to like 74 on the Billboard charts, which is a surprise.
Very much so.
I was shocked that Reaper didn't bring this one up. Cannibal Corpse, Eaten Back to Life. Their first album, produced by Scott Burns. It came out on the 17th of August, 1990. You already mentioned Bloody Kisses. Queen Shrike, Empire came out. Really kind of overproduced, but still has some good songs. Like I like Queen Shrike as well. I don't care if you
Always
guys hate
have.
it. I fucking like him still. Let's see, we already did. Motorhead, Motorhead's self-titled album came out on the 21st of August, 1977. What an important album. An album that took the grit and the nastiness of punk, infused it with hard rock, and kind of came up with their own fucking style. Good album. Metallica's Garage Days Revisited. Yeah, it's a bunch of covers, but I still really like it. And mostly it's because of them covering Diamond Head. And I thought they did a great job with Diamond Head. And I thought they did a great job with the Misfits covers. That came out on the 21st of August, 1987.
That was the only one I liked.
And King Diamond Conspiracy came out on the 21st of August, 1989.
Damn it.
That's a fucking good one. I thought you would have that one, but everyone you brought up was fucking good. The ones you brought up, though, you brought up iconic ones. And then another really good one, and this is to me yet another, just like Atheist, this is an old school death metal band that is really underrated. Vital Remains, super satanic band as well. And they came out with their debut, Let Us Pray, on the 21st of August in 1992. Vital Remains. Vital Remains is straight up nasty death metal. And that's it.
Oh my goodness. Cody said I was going to say King Diamond, but did not want to kill if you had it, Reaper. Oh, I get it. You're not feeling well, brother. I understand. No, seriously, that one did not pop up in the research that I was doing. And it's so funny because I had it in the back of my mind. Maybe I should see if King D released something in August. And that was just not typical of him. So I was like, probably not. He was always a fall guy or a winter guy. But man, what a fucking album. And it was the last time you had Mickey D handling the drums before he moved on to Motorhead. Yeah. And God damn it. Because I have to say, nothing against Snowy Shaw. Although everyone always said Snowy Shaw was a programmed drummer. No, he was a real human being. But he was no Mickey D. Nobody brought that prog feel better than Mickey D. And unfortunately, the way King was going was just not the direction that Mickey wanted to, which is why they parted ways. But I mean, Sleepless Nights will always be one of my favorite songs off that record. And again, when I mentioned Orgasmatron earlier, it was almost a twofer because that first Motorhead record definitely started something that no one else was doing at that time. So many fucking Motorhead records came out in August. He was always there and he was always re-inspiring us all. But that record will always remain super iconic. Wasp. God damn, there was nothing cooler than that fucking Blackie Lawless, man. You know, Blind in Texas. I Want to Be Somebody. Anthemic songs.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, Aaron says, I use one of their songs to get into the zone to Be Bloody Bones. Fuck yeah, dude. He was scary. I agree with you, Mousebong. She says, Blackie Lawless is a crazy dude. And he was. He was not afraid to go against the grain. Didn't give a fuck. Was on PMRC's hit list. Nothing wrong with that. I did happen to see that, but I didn't want to go too 80s heavy in my list, but I'm glad you brought that up. So fucking good. And they're on tour right now. And that was another thing that you had brought up that I thought was so cool is some of these iconic bands are doing albums in full, their best. At first I thought maybe it was a fad thing to do, not, feeling whatever newer music you've put out. But at the same time, it gives new generations a live experience to experience those records that we experienced a long time ago. You know what I mean? We were young at the time, and they were just touring on those records. It would be really fucking cool to see some other bands do the same. One of my favorite things that I would love to see is have Merciful Fate tour on Melissa. Holy fuck, would that be an experience? Because I was never allowed to go. So I never actually got to see any of those songs performed live. To this very day. Now, I've seen King D, don't get me wrong. And I got to, hear him play a lot of the classics that he's done, but and Come to the Sabbath. So I was happy, to catch that. But other bands too. Actually Iron Maiden did do that. They did what was it? The Legacy Tour, I think it was called, where they were doing certain albums in full. Mm-hmm. So actually not a bad thing. And if any of these bands come your way, guys, fucking go. I'd love to see Cannibal do that. How cool would that be?
Whole album.
Oh man, it would be fucking insane.
When
many great bands.
When I saw Mastodon for the second time, it was on the Crack the Sky tour. And on that first tour, they played the entire album from front to back, and I really liked it because I had already had the album for like maybe 2 weeks, and I was already pretty familiar. I knew which songs I really wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm. There's another band I wish I could have caught live. I have not caught them live yet. So, fuck, and they're coming this way too.
You might check the date. You might still be here. I might be mistaken, but I think it's like the 25th or 26th. Some 24, 25, 26. It's somewhere right around there.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to double check that. It was crazy because the last time I saw Danzig live, he was about to tour on the entire first record, doing it from front to back. That's something I wish I would have got to see. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He was about to do How the Gods Kill in its entirety. And the night that I saw him, he did like 3 or 4 tracks. He was like, oh, you want to hear a few more? Let's do it. So hopefully everybody out there in the Morgrat universe has definitely got some listening material to either go back to, hear again, dust it off. Go back and check some of it out. If there's some new ones that we had mentioned, um, and you haven't heard it yet, please go check that shit out. There was only one other honorable mention that I forgot because the slide didn't make it in for whatever reason, because StreamYard is being a bitch. Slipknot's Iowa was released in August as well.
Yeah, I thought I wrote that thing down.
You know what? As a matter of fact,
really good album.
Oh my goodness. So their self-titled was groundbreaking, but their second record was so fucking heavier, especially because drummer Jordanson was a huge black metal fan and wanted to bring in some of the blast beat into what he was doing. And it shows, So I it just came back to my dome. Go back and listen to it. Heretic Anthem, motherfucker. I still get down to that song weekly. I know I shit on them a lot only because of what they've become, but man, those first two records, Iowa especially. So hopefully, we've given you guys a lot to think about. Mousebong says Iowa was heavy. I'll give them that. Cody says Iowa will forever be their fucking legacy album to me. Yes, that's exactly right. Because everything that comes after that was just not as inspired, not totally them. And it's unfortunate. But, check these records out. I think we're going to have to do an album review for our next show because from what I could see online, there are some more releases that have come out this month that are notable for us to do a review on. And we will definitely be back next Monday night. Thank you guys for joining us on a Monday night. Fucking Mommy Milkers Monday. Feels so good to be back on this day. But don't forget, the week is not over. Reapers Underground is going to be live in effect this Wednesday. I have the great, great actress Bridget Lynn joining us. She is going to be one of the stars in the upcoming sequel to Circus of the Dead, Billy Pond's wonderful clown universe. And it is so dark, so awesome. You're going to love it. So definitely tune in Wednesday night as she joins us. And then, of course, it's Time to Sin on Saturday night for the goddamn program. Let me just tell you, as a side note, this past Saturday shattered the goddamn program viewing record. It was unfucking believable. You guys are so much fun, such a fucking blast. So definitely join us Saturday night. But if you're getting ready to make your commute tomorrow morning and you're just feeling a little, I don't know, not ready to do it, the most thing that you must always remember, don't take no shit. If you got a coworker that fucking you can't stand, give them the finger. And always remember to do it by staying heavy.